Hello and what is up, guys? DemonIX. Otherwise known as maybe we're trying to stream here. I am trying to figure out what some technical difficulties I'm having here because that's better. Trying to figure out the technical difficulties because this thing is not. This thing's not going well. Okay, so everything should be going fine. Because yeah, so I did a video earlier, released it about Galarian Ponyta. I will be calling it Ponytail. I mentioned my reason before, tail like story, because even though it's a psychic type, that is I honestly don't think of it. I can't think of another name that might actually work for it better. Like Psyhorn, Unihorn, Unimine. Actually, Unimine's not bad, but it doesn't sound like a unicorn kind of deal. It sounds like a living brain kind of. Yeah. Sounds like a living brain kind of deal, and that's not usually what you'd want. I mean, like a living brain could, like an actual brain, like would actually seem kind of intriguing, but you don't actually want that kind of thing consistently. Crap. I should have thought of more things to have for this video. So some of the things I'm doing this month, I'm gonna be trying to do some try not to get scared videos because it's October. Gonna see about like different videos to do and all that. Try to make this work out. How do I have an average watch time that's higher than the actual watch time? Seems messed up. Yeah, we're gonna try to fix some things right now. Trying to think of relevant stuff for like UK keeping that Pokemon conversation going because I just talked about some projects I had. What are we shooting out into the wind for this? And yeah, this again, these live stream videos would be a lot easier if I had something to bounce off of. So I might as well talk about a theory I have involving the Galar starters. So my theory is that they connect to CDs. That would make more sense if I'm pointing out that I'm not talking about the compact disc. I'm talking about famous like UK CDs. And when I say CDs in this context, it's the initials of their names. So Charles Darwin, Charles Dodgson, and Charles Dickens. To explain Charles Darwin, I probably should have. Yeah, I probably should have. Okay, hold on. I did not think this through when I was. Okay, so I'm trying to work this out because I have no idea how to. So if I put it at 6 minutes, watch me figure out live streams and watch me figure out live streams live. So just a quick video, and here we are going to go. Anyways, what is up, guys? Just going to talk about a quick theory I have for the starters of the Galar region. So my main theory is that I should just cancel this. Hold on. Oh. Okay. No. Wish I planned this ahead. Anyway, so Charles Darwin, Charles Dodgson, and Charles Dickens. So Grookey being a monkey, well, chimp, connected to Charles Darwin, you know, the theory of evolution, for those who don't know. It's quite simple, really. You know, humans evolved from apes, and if you look at and it makes sense from the grass type starter perspective because all of them have that kind of as a chain. They all kind of connect to evolution in a way because you have like, you know, the first four being kind of reptilian. Granted, snakes are reptiles, but you also have for the snivy line that kind of progress with snakes losing their limbs, and then going from reptiles you gain Chespin, Rowlet, and Grookey, who, you know, are offshoots of reptiles, like mammals and like mammals and birds offshot from reptiles, especially if you look at it from Rowlet's perspective, because Rowlet being a bird and birds are descendants of feathered, you know, dinosaurs, and that makes perfect freaking sense. Right. And then while, you know, Scorbunny, right? Scorbunny being a rabbit makes sense because the whole Chinese zodiac motif. But the thing is the fire type starters, they're not just the Chinese zodiac. They're somehow connected to mythology related to the animal, the Chinese zodiac. They're based on it, right? So you have Charizard. Well, you know, the Chinese zodiac. So you're expecting an Eastern style dragon, but it's a Western style dragon instead, right? Cyndaquil is represents the rats in the Chinese zodiac, but it could also represent Princess Kaguya, which is more tying to that traditional theme of Johto versus the more industrial Kanto, which would also explain why Charizard is a Western style dragon. Right. Blaziken is a Basan, which is basically an upright, like it's basically a fire-breathing chicken from mythology that is also following that upright, like, motif, like that upright standing chicken that I forgot the name of, but they're using Japanese cockfights, or not just Japanese cockfights. I think it's more Asian cockfights, whereas, you know, everywhere else we just use the more basic chicken. Right. Infernape is Sun Wukong, right? That makes sense. Embor is, yeah, probably butchering the name here, Zabaji. Fennekin line. See, the Fennekin line is a little tricky because you can argue that as a collective, the Gen 6 starters have not only an RPG motif but also a fairy tale motif. Hans, my hedgehog, Golden Bird, the fox from the story of the Golden Bird, which makes sense. If you look at that Fennekin, it has those little kind of wing kind of tufts sticking out of its legs. And then you have Froakie being the frog prince, but then it kind of breaks down when they evolve. But in actuality, there's a yokai, or not necessarily yokai, but like an entity from Japanese folklore called an inugami, but it's a dog-headed person, but there's a fox variant instead, and it's a magician, which is why, and since magic is more tied to the psychic type, that's why, Delphox is fire psychic, because it's a fire type starter, and it's pulling from magicians. Which is actually, ironically, how I envisioned my own rabbit type starter line, where it's the magician pulling the rabbit out of the hat kind of deal. But still pulling from the white rabbit, which I'm going to get into in a second there. Right? Incineroar it's Tiger Mask. It's a heel, the heel wrestler concept. It's Tiger Mask, right? Again, a fictional character, right? That's where they're pulling from. And Scorbunny is no different. It's being a white rabbit in a UK-based region makes a lot of sense for that regard. It is the white rabbit from the stories of Charles Dodgson, which, for those of you who are confused, Charles Dodgson used the pen name Lewis Carroll. Yes, Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland. Gonna be late. And yeah, that's kind of where we pull that from. Saltwell connects to Charles Dickens, and this is a little more convoluted, but bear with me. So Charles Dickens wrote tons of great stories. One in particular was David Copperfield, and if that name sounds familiar, you might know the stage magician known as David Copperfield. Now, what did David Copperfield where did sorry, I messed up my question here. Where did David Copperfield get that question? That name, right? His first name is actually David, but Copperfield is the stage name. Right? Where did he get it from? The book by Charles Dickens. And what is David Copperfield known for? He's known for making the Eiffel Tower disappear, which is kind of funny when you think about a kind of connection, because David, making the Eiffel Tower disappear, UK-based region, the whole front, and UK doesn't always have the if you go back far enough in history, doesn't have the best connections with the US, where the Eiffel Tower is located, or France, which gifted the Eiffel Tower to the US. I mean, awkward. But no, it's one of those things. I'm going on this huge rant of a theory. Goodness gracious. But no, you don't think about this stuff, and it makes a lot of sense to think about it, because they always have those kind of connections between the starters, which is why I'm kind of suspecting that a future region might be based on Greece, and that's when we're gonna get the ox fire starter, for example, because then it's it evolves into a minotaur, because that one makes sense. It ties into that kind of folklore. They could make a water horse starter in that same region, because Pegasus, and it makes sense to make a water horse because Pegasus is literally a son of Poseidon, who is, well, Poseidon is god of the sea. He's got Lord of the seas, god of god of the oceans. You know, the Earthshaker, the Stormbringer, right? And that would tie in really well to that. And if they don't use these kind of ideas, I will. Like again, one of my own projects is a Mon type series, and I'm working on developing that. But you know, to each their own. Just gonna quickly pop into something else. Sorry about that. And yeah, there's a lot of things that could work out for this. Like you guys think, most people don't get. Like I don't hate these games. I don't hate Sword and Shield, but the fact is that they're taking stuff out that should be in the game. Again, all the Pokemon. You already know. Like anyone watching this will know how I feel about that. Right, but at the same time, you're having Pokemon in the overworld, but you don't allow us to have our own Pokemon following us. Like what? Like the one thing that would actually at least make sense in this whole shit show, and you don't even give us that. You're making experience share a permanent thing. Like you're saying it's for longtime fans and newcomers alike, but it seems more like you're just trying to shoo out the longtime fans in favor of newcomers who don't actually give a fuck about the series. You know, you do this kind of thing, like, and it's not the first time they cut content for newcomers like Battlefront Jerry back in ORAS. They cut it for what reason? What reason did they have? None. Because their reasoning was, new fans don't have the attention span. And to do it, it's like, well, all you're doing is enabling the ADHD that they weren't born with but are gaining. Their short attention span, the inability to pay attention for a long period of time, you're not giving them incentive to, train their concentration. You're not giving them the incentive to actually pay attention for longer periods of time. You're just exasperating that very issue. This is exactly the problem, because you're bolstering the issue. You're saying, we didn't put this in because attention spans, but it's but putting it in would have bolstered in them to to pay attention, and instead you're saying you're exasperating the issue. I was trying to remember the word I was looking for. You're exasperating the issue, and that's exactly the thing. Right? I mean, don't get me wrong. You see that, you see a lot of people who are also exasperating the issue when it comes to the whole bullshit that Game Freak and Nintendo are doing, because it's well, they have these cuts for a reason, and here's all the reasons. Those are literally lies, and you're actually just showing further proof that they're lying. Instead of calling them out on their bullshit, you're sucking on their cock, and that is a fucking issue. It's it's really not the people who are supportive of having the features that should be in the game. It's the people that are fine because at least we're getting a Pokemon game. At least. The problem is you're making at least this, at least that. How long until they remove literally everything that makes a mainline Pokemon game a mainline Pokemon game? It starts. They try to do that with gyms. They got backlash. They got backlash they earned on that one. Like, be more creative with how you do the gyms, sure, but don't take them out entirely. Not entirely, right? They took out Wild Battles and Let's Go, and they got backlash for that. But now they're going to be emboldened because it's like, oh well, we had all these cocksuckers, these bootlickers, saying it's okay to make these kind of cuts. Like, you were okay with the decks. Why aren't you okay with battles? Why aren't you okay with gyms? Why aren't you okay with this? How long until you won't be able to have version exclusives? That you literally won't be able to transfer a Pokemon that's not catchable in the game. And when I say catchable, I mean literally catchable. How long? How long until you start crying like a bitch while calling other people, saying other people are crying like a bitch when your favorite Pokemon, not my favorite Pokemon, all Pokemon are my favorite, but how long until your favorite Pokemon is taken out of the game? How long? This is in Demon IX. For a live stream, I didn't want to make this pure with Pokemon, but you know what? I don't have any viewers for this fucking live stream, so fuck it. Peace out.